Hey, how'd you like to bolt on a couple hundred horsepower in just one afternoon in your driveway? Hi, I'm Chuck Hansen.
And I'm Joe Elmore. Stick around and we'll show you how on today's Horsepower TV. It's perhaps the most powerful bolt-on in hot rodding today. A one-stage nitrous kit we'll install on our Project Pony, and we'll take it to the track for the ultimate payout. We'll use an old 39 Buick chassis to show you how to bring a street rod into the 90s with a new front end kit. Plus, we'll take you to Orlando for the world's ultimate streetcar shootout, the Real World Street Nationals.
Run what you brung and hope you brought enough, you know. Fastest car wins.
So hang on for Horsepower TV. Hi, welcome to the shop. In that never-ending hunt for horsepower, everybody's looking for something that's simple, effective, and economical. Now, when you weigh all those factors, nitrous always tops the list. Maybe you've heard that nitrous oxide is hard on engine parts, but the kits available today are well engineered to give you that blast of power without any component carnage.
That's right. Now, today we're going to be putting a single stage setup on our Project Pony over there. Now, this is the most basic kit, and ours is tunable from 50 to 175 horsepower. We got ours from Nitrous Works. The kit comes with a bottle, brackets, hoses, and solenoids. Plus, check this out. The spray plate has adjustable jets. Now, finally, if your fuel system doesn't already have one, well, you're going to need an electrical fuel pump like this one. Now, for under 500 bucks, man, it's a heck of a way to pump up your performance without deflating your wallet.
And for a bigger boost, this Camaro is loaded with a Hitman system that gives you up to 400 extra horsepower for some serious racing. Now, of course, they also make two-stage systems. Let me get this massive carb off and I'll show you how it works. You've got two solenoids each for nitrous and for fuel. Now, typically you launch on the first stage, and once you're planted and headed down the track, you bring in the second stage. Now, if that's not enough, well, they even have three-stage systems for those bad pro mod racers.
Now, our old Project Pony here already has a healthy 5-liter engine under the hood. In fact, last time we took it to the track, well, it ran in the 14s. Since then, though, we've added a 9-inch rear end with 373 gears, plus a set of power pulleys and a computer chip. Of course, once we start spraying this thing, and we're going to run deep into the 13s.
We'll make it, partner, and we'll show you later on. But before we start bolting on hardware, let's talk about how this stuff makes more power. Nitrous under pressure cools down to less than 100 degrees below zero when it's released into the atmosphere. Now, that denser charge alone means more power.
We'll begin by getting some of the old parts out of the way. Now, after disconnecting the battery, we'll remove the air duct hose and the 4 bolts that attach the throttle body to the manifold. Then we remove the throttle body as well as the EGR spacer. Finally, we'll install the longer studs that are supplied in the kit. We'll need an additional fuel supply for this installation, so we're going to tap into the Schrader valve behind the alternator. Before installing this fitting, give it a dab with thread sealant to prevent any leaks.
Now, while Chuck's been getting things ready under the hood over there, I've been test fitting our plate and solenoid setup. Looks like everything's going to fit. Now, as always with a nitrous kit, red is for fuel, blue, well, that's for nitrous. Now let's see if we can get this plate on. Now, the orientation of this plate's pretty critical. We want to make sure this red fuel inlet is facing forward. Now we're ready to put back our EGR spacer. One more gasket. We're ready for the throttle body.
Once Joe finishes with that throttle body, we'll be ready for this micro switch. Now, this thing mounts so it comes in contact with the throttle arm, and it activates the system under wide open throttle.
And it mounts right here on this lower front stud.
Well, these solenoids are next, but remember what I told you about this being a tunable system? Well, here's the secret. These little slip-in jets here allow us to tune for the horsepower level that we want.
Now, we jetted ours to 125 because we want a lot. Now, that ought to put the spurs to our pony. What do you think?
Oh, you bet. Now, don't you go away. We're going to finish up that installation and take our bottle baby to the track right after this.
Later in the show, we'll go to Orlando for the ultimate streetcar shootout, the Real World Street Nationals. Then a cool street rod mod as we update the front end on a 39 Buick. Stay tuned. Hey, welcome back to the shop and to our nitrous installation. Well, it won't be long before we start squeezing this pony. Got our solenoids mounted, fuel lines connected, and, well, we finished the wiring. Hey, Chuck, how you coming with that bottle back there?
We're doing great back here. Now, when you get ready to mount your tank, make sure that you find a solid place back here in the trunk that'll allow you to drill without punching into that gas tank. And, of course, you want to make sure that you stay away from the fuel and brake lines underneath. Here's another thing to check out. Make sure you got plenty of room to operate this valve here and keep it in the uppermost position so the siphon tube in the tank can empty it completely. Well, that's good and solid. Tell you what, I'm going to go get the lift ready.
Good deal, because now we want to run this feed line. And guess what? We lucked out because there's already a factory-made hole here that'll do the trick. Of course, you may have to drill your own, but in any case, make sure you use a grommet so the braided line doesn't chafe on the hole.
We're going to run our nitrous line down the frame rail and alongside our subframe connector here. Now, we also want to make sure that we keep it secure, so we use these little nylon ties. Another thing to keep in mind is keep it away from all this heat and moving suspension parts. There you go, Joe.
Okay. Well, from the frame connector, hey, it looks like we can run it in through here, then up into the engine compartment. Now, we're going to keep a little bit of slack in this line so we can absorb any engine to chassis movement.
Now, you're going to need extra fuel to go along with that nitrous, so now's a good time to mount a high-capacity electric fuel pump like this one. Now, our Mustang already has one in the tank from a previous modification. Now, when you mount yours, mount it up here close to the tank so that it's pushing the fuel rather than pulling it.
Okay. Well, after connecting that line to the solenoid, we double-checked the wiring, fuel, and nitrous connections, so, well, I guess now we're ready for that live systems check.
That's right. Now, you want to make sure that the valve on your bottle is completely closed before you turn on the ignition switch. Then you go ahead and activate the micro switch down here by the throttle arm. You should hear those solenoids click. Well, that's it. What do you say we take it to the track?
Hey, man, 871. If I did my math right, that's a 1340 and a quarter.
Man, that's stout a whole lot better than it was last time. This thing will really pin your ears back now.
That's a good baseline. Let's put the squeeze to it.
I'm ready.
To get the best performance out of your nitrous, keep the bottle pressure between 900 and 1,000 psi. Wow. Man, that 780 would be a 12 flat on the quarter mile.
Right.
Not
And
bad.
I even clicked it early down there.
Yeah, I noticed.
Man, I tell you what, that was a strong run. Now I know why they call it giggle gas.
All right. Well, you hang with us. We'll be back with more Horsepower TV right after this. I gotta try it.
Hey, man, you're going to love it. Get in there.
Coming up, some hit the tree hard, some hit the wall. It's the Wild Real World Street Nationals next. Hey, got a need for some speed? Welcome back to the show and to Speed World in Orlando. Better buckle up. We're here for the ultimate fastest streetcar shootout. What happens when you dangle a fat purse of prizes before some of the nation's top street fighters in a no-holds-barred competition before a jam-packed crowd? Well, you've got an annual power party called the World Street Nationals.
It's going to be a dogfight, but it's going to be fun.
You got that right. Now, 3 classes encompass this festival of fast car muscle: Pure Street, mostly small blocks on 10.5-inch DOT street tires; Pro Street, with all the power you can put on DOTs; and Super Pro Street, with all that nitrous you want or the baddest blower you got on any size slick.
Certainly a lot of different types of combinations out here.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're just going to come out here and run our own race and hope that we make the right guesses.
It's got a ton of power. We really don't use everything we've got in the car because not so much the car won't take it, it's just the DOT tires really put, I call it a limit on it, what you can put to the track.
Cars are run pretty fast. I mean, they're definitely a lot easier to run on the slicks than they are on the DOTs. And everybody's definitely making plenty of power, so it's going to be real interesting to see.
This Florida Festival of Horsepower attracted some old friends like NMCA champ Tony Christian, the exalted one himself, his top rival Mike Moran, and Randy Adler in his blown alcohol GTO, free to unleash all that power on slicks in the Super Pro class. Drag racing's hot here in Central Florida, but so's the heat, especially today on the track. Too many times racers put too much power on the strip. Fortunately, no one was hurt, only some pride in parts. Then, as the sun began to set, the temperature went down along with ETs. One highlight of the qualifying night was this battle of the 55 Chevy shoeboxes as Jim Hunt edged out Scott Long. Then the matchup that all hoped for. A qualifying run with more excitement than most finals. Christian in his Nitrous Firebird versus Adler in his supercharged Goat. And the old Fox fired away a 692 at 203 miles an hour.
Adler didn't want to race me, I wanted to race him. So I pulled over and let somebody go around me, and then just kind of went after him. When we leaned on it, I mean, the track just got better tonight. I definitely won't be able to duplicate that tomorrow. I mean, there's no way.
With qualifying competition that hot, imagine what today's finals are going to be like, with baddest streetcar honors and over 60 grand in prizes on the line. Jeff Miller in his Camaro, powered by a 526 Pro Mod motor, headed into eliminations as the top qualifier in Pro Street DOT, trying to keep his winning combination on a track that was quickly heating up in the Florida sun.
We just go ahead and adjust the car accordingly, and hopefully we're smart enough to make the car go down a greasy track. We've done it before. Hopefully we can do it this weekend.
Well, Miller did it all right, methodically making his way toward the finals and winning with a 755 solo trip. Mike Hill took Pure Street honors in this nail-biter final with an 829. Meanwhile, Christian had been working his way through the Super Pro qualifiers, sometimes with a hole shot, sometimes with another run in the sixes. Now in the final race for the fourth time in a row, it was Christian versus Moran, the veteran against the hapless challenger. Christian runs an amazing 695 at 203 to end his season with a bang and some big bucks.
I'm gonna go home, spend about a week at home with the wife. I don't know if I can, and my daughters and the little one here and my daughter over there, and my son. Maybe for about a week, and then that's all I can handle it. Then I'll go back to work.
What a year for Tony Christian, and what a finish for this annual festival of horsepower, hot cars, and the ultimate in streetcar competition. Just ahead, a street rod how-to you can use as we build a new front end on a classic from the 30s. Hi, and welcome back. How many times have you dreamed of hitting the highway in a cool ride like this 49 Chevy Fastback? Now, the owner, Brent Vanderbilt, has added some personal touches like, well, door handles from a Mazda Miata. Hey, and get a load of this, portholes from a 36 Plymouth of all things.
Yeah, but some of the coolest parts are the ones that aren't so obvious, like this late model Mustang front suspension, and well, check out the Cadillac engine there. It's a 500 cubic incher. Of course, it's got air, steering, and brakes, and, well, it's a mechanical medley of both the old and the new. But you know, before you can have something like this,
you got to start with something like this. It's a 39 Buick that needs, well, just about everything. We thought it'd make a great platform for showing you some modifications and updates from time to time that you can apply to your own street rod project.
and the first thing we're going to do is replace this old-fashioned front end here with a Fat Man front end kit. That way we'll have better ride, handling, and braking. Plus, if we need any replacement parts, well, we'll be able to get them just about anywhere.
The heart of this system is this frame stub that's going to replace the front part of the original frame. Now, this basic kit accepts Mustang 2 suspension and steering pieces, Now we've upgraded ours to stage 2 status with these tubular control arms and larger 11-inch disc brakes.
All right. Well, I've got the Buick in the air and the chassis all leveled. Once Joe gets some measurements made, well, we're going to be ready to make that cut. Now, the basic kit costs under $700, and you can plan on spending the better part of the day to do that job right.
The key to success in this swap is to locate the core support properly. Now, we do this by using a plumb bob to mark the location of the core support hole. Then we take our tape measure and determine the height of that hole. Make sure you mark that down. Now over here, we measured 16 inches from this body mount hole, and that's where we'll make the first cut.
Hey, cutting metal with fire is a lot of fun, but for a cleaner appearance, we're going to use this Sawzall.
Man, you are a cut above the rest. That was easier than I thought it'd be.
Well, thanks a lot for all your help there, Mr. Clean.
Okay, now we're ready for the stub.
All right. You in?
Yep, you?
Yep. All right, let's check that measurement.
Let's do it. Okay, a little to the passenger side.
All right.
Oop, that's it right there.
All right. How are we doing on the vertical height?
20.5. We're right on, man. Let's tack.
We've removed this rust here to give us a better welding surface, and we've cut out this pie-shaped piece here to help the inner frame rail fit up better against our stub. Now, once we get everything tacked in place, we'll go ahead and recheck our measurements.
Okay, with our tacks done, some more measurements. Still on the money. You weld away there, partner.
Of course, now that the welding is done, we can start hanging that hardware.
First to get bolted on are the upper control arms. Then, using a jack for support, we install the lower control arms and springs. We're using shortened springs for ride height mock-up since the engine and trans aren't installed yet. Then we bolt up the shocks and the spindles. Finally, the rotors and the caliper assemblies.
Now, the final piece we're going to bolt on is this steering rack to complete our street rod suspension upgrade.
Of course, in coming weeks, we'll show you more modifications that you can apply to your own street rod project. But hey, don't go away. Hot Parts is next.
Now, Horsepower's Hot Parts, brought to you by Summit Racing Equipment, your source for high-performance parts for 30 years.
Now, here's something that'll light your fire and the one in your engine. It's the new Comp 9000 billet distributor from Mallory. Now, it's made especially for high RPM, high compression applications, and check this out. It's got dual magnetic pickups, a fully adjustable advance, and a cap with special ribbing in here to help prevent crossfiring, plus this cool retention ring here to keep those plug wires firmly in place. Now, it's also got an adjustable distributor ring here to help establish proper distributor depth and camshaft engagement in those special racing blocks. Now, here's the real shocker. This thing's only going to jolt your wallet for a little over $200.
Now, here's some straight talk about air. If you can straighten it out and reduce turbulence, you can get some extra horsepower in your late model GM TunePort application. Now, this air charger from Hypertech allows you to do just that, and it easily installs on the inlet side of your throttle body. It's made from lightweight aluminum and lets you keep your stock inlet ducting, and it's smog legal. Best part is it won't blow your budget. You can pick one up for less than $50.
You know, I like the sound of power. Unfortunately, my neighbors don't. So finding that perfect compromise is tough. You know, when it'll help keep the performance levels up while keeping the noise levels down. And that's why Flowmaster's come out with this 70 series muffler here. Now, it features the same welded steel construction as their race pieces, but improved baffling for increased noise suppression.
So if you like the strong, silent type, we're still talking mufflers here, you can pick up one of these for less than $100.
All right, now what do you say we make a little noise about next week's show?
We'll kick off our crate motor buildup on Project Blue Thunder with a 502 cube engine that makes 502 horses. We'll head to West Palm Beach for a Ford Lover's Paradise, where the Blue Oval boys do battle on the strip. Plus, we got a cool tip on how to use weather stripping to make your hot rod a real showstopper.
And remember, high performance fun is what this show is all about.
Hey, Bowtie Bubba, let's go for a cruise.
You gonna let me drive?
Let's flip for it.
No, I'm closer to the driver's door. Come
Oh,
on.
man, you do that every time.
Man, you know me. I like to drive, man.
I know you like to drive. You love Chevys, too, but...
Uh-huh.
Oh, man, listen to those 500 cubes.
Caddy.
Yep. Where we going first?
I say we go down. What about just hitting the drive-in down here? See if we can profile through there a little bit.
Do some serious profiling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Here we go.
All right. I gotta call home, tell them not to wait up for me.
Yeah.
All right. What color is this thing anyway?
Pretty.
It sure is. Pretty, pretty.
Pretty, pretty.
What about the steering wheel? Well, that's sharp.
Wow, look.
Yeah.
Wow, look. I don't think any sounds in here, man.
Tune it up.
Horsepower TV is an RTM production.